move on to my last shelf, which are all the books I have read. Some of these I have read too. They're just kind of mixed in because I wanted to keep all my middle grade together. So some of these I have read and some of them I haven't, but all of them on this shelf I have definitely read. So on top, I have just a bottle my husband gave me when we were first dating. It had some sort of tasty soda in it, and then I have this fake flower, and then my friend gave me this empty box that looks like a book, and I keep all my bookmarks in it. And then I have a dolphin frame with one of my old cats from when I was a kid, a picture of Elliot on there. And then I have my Disney castle that's made out of puzzle pieces, and it's awesome. My husband had to put it together for me because I could not figure it out to save my life. And then I have my name that one of my friends cross-stitched for me. And then I have my Mickey Mouse cookie jar that I don't use for cookies. I just have like random small boxes and stuff in there. So that's what's on top of my bookshelf. Now let's see what's underneath. So this is the first shelf of my read and kept books. So let's get started. Swan Sister, Fairy Tales Retold, edited by Ellen Datlow and Terry Windling. The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster. Once Upon a Marigold by Jean Ferris. Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. This is my favorite Jane Austen novel so far, but I've only read this in Pride and Prejudice, I think, so. The Wonder Clock by Howard Pyle. Andersen's Fairy Tales by Hans Christian Andersen. Princess Academy by Shannon Hale. The Goose Girl and Book of a Thousand Days, also by Shannon Hale. Graceling and Fire, both by Kristen Cashore. I've also read the third book in this companion series called Bitter Blue, but I didn't like it enough to keep it, so that's why it's not on my shelf anymore. Next one is I, Coriander by Sally Gardner. If I Have a Wicked Stepmother, Where's My Prince by Melissa Cantor. Monster by Frank Peretti. The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. Saving Juliet by Suzanne Selfers. Impossible by Nancy Werlin. Cindy Ella by Robin Palmer. The Amaranth Enchantment by Julie Berry. Something Maybe by Elizabeth Scott. The Girl Who Never Was by Skylar Dorset. Timeless by Alexandra Monier. The Selection by Kiera Cass. I've read this whole trilogy, but this is the only one I own. Ballad and Lament, both by Maggie Stiefvater. Next stack, we have The Adventures of Ulysses by Bernard Evslin. This is a book that was required reading in 6th grade, I believe, and I enjoyed it so much I decided to buy myself a copy. Freaky Friday by Mary Rogers. Violet Eyes, World Above, Belle, The Night Dance, The Storyteller's Daughter, Wild Orchid, Before Midnight, Sunlight and Shadow, Beauty Sleep, Golden, and Snow, which are all part of the Once Upon a Time Companions fairy tale series, all by Cameron Doki, except for Snow, which is by Tracy Lynn, The Night Dance, which is by Suzanne Wayne, and Violet Eyes, which is by Debbie Vigui. Next is Beauty by Robin McKinley, The Door in the Hedge by Robin McKinley, Educating Esme by Esme Raji Kodel, Stealing Heaven by Elizabeth Scott, All American Girl by Meg Cabot, Avalon High by Meg Cabot, and How to Be Popular by Meg Cabot. Brightly Woven by Alexandra Bracken. Jabberwocky and Other Poems by Lewis Carroll. Sitting up front and center on this next shelf down is the gorgeous A Court of Thorns and Roses cover by Sarah J. Maas, and the book as well. This is just an ARC, but this was such a good book, guys. You don't even know. Check it out. Releases May 5th. I highly recommend reading it. Yes. Days of Blood and Starlight and Daughter of Smoke and Bone, both by Laini Taylor. These are books 1 and 2 in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. I do not yet have the third one, but I have read it. Fairest, Ella Enchanted, Princess Tales Volume 1, The Princess Tales Volume 2, The Two Princesses of Bamar, and The Wish, all by Gail Carson Levine. It's kind of hard to see who my favorite author is, isn't it? Goose Chase by Patrice Kindle, Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan, Memoirs of a Teenage Amnesiac by Gabrielle Zevin, Divergent by Veronica Roth, Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. Books 1 through 4 in the Tiger's Curse series, the first one being Tiger's Curse, the second one being Tiger's Quest, the third one being Tiger's Voyage, and the fourth one being Tiger's Destiny. And these are like my favorite covers of all time. I can't handle it. They are so pretty. And there is supposed to be a fifth book in this series as well called Tiger's Dream, but it's not going to be out for a few years. So next we have some very familiar books, so I'm not going to pull them out except for a couple of them. But top one up here is Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli, which I really need to reread because I want to read the sequel, Love Stargirl, and I don't remember anything about this book, so that's why I have it. And The Host by Stephanie Meyer. If you don't like the Twilight series, definitely read this because it is so much better. It is her adult novel, and it is fantastic. Then we have the 5 books of the Twilight series, of course, the first 2 in paperback, and then Eclipse, the short Second Life of Bree Tanner, which is the novella between Eclipse and Breaking Dawn, and Breaking Dawn obviously is the last book in the series. And then on the bottom I have the complete Hunger Games trilogy as well. The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay, all by Suzanne Collins. Last stack on this shelf, which by the way, I don't normally like to stack my books this way. I prefer the traditional up and down way, but I use my space better when they're in a stack. They can go all the way up to the ceiling of the shelf this way, so I can preserve as much space as possible, and I'm already overflowing, obviously. They're all pretty much stacked like that, and I'm still out of room. So I just need bigger bookshelves, I guess, but yeah, that's why they're stacked like this. I don't prefer it, but it does get more space out of my shelf when they're like this. Gamer Girl by Marie Mancusi, My Most Excellent Year by Steve Kluger, Waiting for You, When It Happens, and Take Me There, all by Suzanne Colasanti. She's one of my favorite contemporary authors that I've read. Evermore and Blue Moon by Alison Noel. These are the first 2 books in the Immortals series. I liked the first one, and the second one was okay, and I read a couple after that as well, but I did not like those at all, and I dropped off the series because it was awful. But these ones are pretty good. Then I have the first 2 books of the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer, Cinder and Scarlet, in paperback. And then I have the entirety of the Iron Fae and the Call of the Forgotten Companion series, as far as what has come out. The first one of this series is the Iron King, then the Iron Daughter, the Iron Queen, and the Iron Knight are the four books in that series. And then starting in the Call of Forgotten series, the spin-off series of the Iron Fae is the Lost Prince and the Iron Traitor. And I forget what the third book in this trilogy is going to be called, but it is coming out like fallish of this year, and I'm super excited. It's going to be awesome.